What do you do when your own granddaughter laughs at your worn jacket like it proves you are worthless? How do you stay calm when your family treats you like a walking ATM and a public embarrassment? Why did her college money vanish the very next morning, without a fight, without yelling, and with only one signature? My name is Gideon Sorrell, and I am 62 years old. I spent 38 years as a compliance auditor, which means I learned early that systems matter more than shouting. I learned that paper trails outlast tempers. I learned that the person who stays calm usually wins. I also learned that people mistake quiet for weak. My granddaughter taught me that lesson in a restaurant on a Thursday night, in front of her boyfriend, her mother, her stepfather, and a room full of strangers with phones. She taught me that family can be the cruelest audience of all. What do you do when your own granddaughter laughs at your worn jacket like it proves you are worthless? How do you stay calm when your family treats you like a walking ATM and a public embarrassment? Why did her college money vanish the very next morning, without a fight, without yelling, and with only one signature? I will tell you exactly how it happened. The jacket was 15 years old, maybe older, navy blue, cotton blend, one button missing on the left cuff. I had sewn it back twice before giving up. The lining had a small tear near the shoulder seam, but you could not see it unless you looked closely, and I did not expect anyone to look closely. I wore it because it was clean and because it fit. I wore it because I do not believe a man's value lives in his clothes. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I was wrong about that last part. At least, I was wrong about what other people believe. Marina had texted me 3 days earlier. Family dinner, Thursday, 7 p.m., Rustic Grove. Brielle wants to celebrate getting into the honors track. Please come, Dad. It would mean a lot. It would mean a lot. That phrase does heavy lifting in families like ours. It means show up, smile, pay when the check comes, and do not make waves. I showed up. Rustic Grove was one of those places where the menu has no prices, and the lighting makes everyone look younger than they are. I arrived 10 minutes early and sat in my truck in the parking lot, checking my reflection in the rearview mirror. Hair combed, face shaved, shoes scuffed, but polished as much as they would take. I looked like a man who tried. I thought that would be enough. Inside, the hostess led me to a large booth near the back. Marina was already there with her husband, Evan. Brielle sat across from them, her boyfriend Owen beside her. 2 of Brielle's friends flanked them, girls I had met once or twice but whose names I could never remember. Dad! Marina stood and hugged me, the kind of hug that lasts exactly 2 seconds and communicates nothing. You made it. Of course I made it. Evan nodded at me. He did not stand. Gideon, good to see you. Evan. Brielle looked up from her phone, and for a moment, I thought I saw something warm in her face. Then Owen whispered something to her, and she giggled. Hi, Grandpa, she said, her voice light and distant. Hi, sweetheart. Congratulations on the honors track. Thanks. I sat down at the end of the booth, the spot that feels like an afterthought. A server appeared, young and efficient, and took drink orders. I asked for water. Evan ordered a bottle of wine for the table without asking anyone else. The conversation started easy. Marina talked about her new project at work. Evan talked about a client he had landed. Brielle talked about her schedule for the fall semester, the classes she was excited about, the professors everyone said were brilliant. I listened. I smiled. I sipped my water. Then Owen pulled out his phone and angled it toward Brielle. Babe, we should get a pic for the story. This lighting is perfect. Brielle leaned into him, tilting her head, lips slightly parted in that expression people use when they want to look candid, but are performing. Owen snapped 3 photos in quick succession, reviewed them, and nodded. Post the second one, Brielle said. Already done. Marina laughed. You two are so good at this. At what? I asked. Social media, Marina said, like it was obvious. Brielle has almost 10,000 followers now. She is building a brand. A brand, I repeated. Yeah, Grandpa, Brielle said, looking at me for the first time with real focus. You have to think about your image now. Everything is content. Content, I said. Right, like if you are not online, you do not really exist. I nodded slowly. I see. Evan leaned forward, smiling in that way he has, the way that looks friendly, until you realize it is not. Gideon does not worry about that stuff, Brielle. He is from a different generation. Back then, you just worked hard and hoped someone noticed. Did they? Owen asked. Did they what? Notice. Evan shrugged. Not always. I felt the shift in the air. It was subtle, the way temperature drops before a storm. Marina's smile tightened. Brielle's eyes flicked between Evan and me, calculating. The food arrived. Steak for Evan, salmon for Marina, pasta for Brielle and Owen, a grilled chicken breast for me, plain, no sauce. I ate slowly, cutting small bites, chewing carefully. Halfway through the meal, one of Brielle's friends, the one with dark hair and sharp eyeliner, pointed at my jacket. Is that vintage? She asked. I looked down at my sleeve. It is old, if that is what you mean. No, like, is it a vintage find? Thrift store? I bought it new, a long time ago. She nodded, but her expression said she had already lost interest. Brielle, however, had not. Grandpa, she said, her voice carrying across the table, why do you always wear that jacket? Because it is mine. But it is so... She trailed off, looking at Owen, then back at me. I mean, do you not have anything newer? I have other clothes. But you always wear that one, like every time we see you. Marina jumped in, her voice bright and false. Brielle, your grandpa likes what he likes. There is nothing wrong with that. I am not saying there is something wrong, Brielle said, her tone sharper now. I am just saying, I do not know. It is kind of embarrassing. The word landed like a slap. Embarrassing, I said quietly. I mean, yeah. Like, we are at this nice restaurant and... She gestured vaguely at me. You look like you just came from, I do not know, a yard sale or something. Owen laughed. It was not a cruel laugh exactly. It was worse. It was the kind of laugh that says, I agree, but I will pretend I am just being polite. Evan cleared his throat. Brielle, come on. What? I am just being honest. Honesty is fine, Evan said, but maybe there is a nicer way to say it. I am not trying to be mean, Brielle said, looking around the table for support. I am just saying, Grandpa, if you are going to be seen with me, maybe you could, like, update your look a little. I set my fork down carefully. My hand did not shake. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger. Seen with you? I said. Yeah. As in, I am a liability to your image. She hesitated, and in that hesitation, I had my answer. I did not say that. You did not have to. Marina reached across the table, her hand hovering near mine. Dad, she did not mean it like that. How did she mean it? Marina opened her mouth, then closed it. Evan looked at his wine glass. Owen's phone was out again, angled low, and I realized with a cold, clear certainty that he was recording this. I heard the faint click of a camera focusing. I did not yell. I did not stand up and storm out. I sat there, very still, and felt something inside me shift. It was not anger, not yet. It was clarity. The rest of the meal passed in a fog. People talked. I do not remember what they said. The check came, and Evan made a show of reaching for it, but his hand moved slowly, like he was waiting for me to intercept. I did not. He blinked, surprised, then pulled out his card. Marina shot me a look, something between confusion and disappointment. Brielle did not look at me at all. Outside, in the parking lot, Marina caught up with me. "Dad, wait." I stopped, keys in hand. She did not mean it. She is 19. She does not think before she talks. She thought plenty, I said. She just did not care. That is not fair. Fair, I repeated, tasting the word. Marina, when was the last time she asked how I was doing? She asks all the time. She asks for things. That is different. Marina's face hardened. You are being dramatic. It was one comment. It was not one comment. It was an audience. What does that mean? It means she waited until there were witnesses. It means she wanted people to see her put me in my place. You are overthinking this. I looked at her, my daughter, and saw a woman who had spent years choosing comfort over truth. Maybe, I said, or maybe I am finally thinking clearly. I got in my truck and drove home. The silence in the cab was thick, almost solid. I replayed the dinner in my head, not the words themselves, but the certainty behind them. The way Brielle had looked at me, like I was a problem to be managed. The way Marina had laughed, not with me, but at me. The way Evan had smiled, that knowing, superior smile that said, "We all see what you are." At home, I made coffee, even though it was late. I sat at my small kitchen table and stared at the mug in my hands. The house was quiet. It is always quiet. I opened a drawer and pulled out a folder I had not looked at in months. Inside were documents, neatly labeled, carefully organized, account numbers, beneficiary forms, signatures, my signature. I closed the folder and set it on the table. My phone buzzed, a text from Marina. Please do not be upset. She is just young. I set the phone face down and did not reply. I sat there for a long time, the coffee growing cold, the house settling into its nighttime creaks. I thought about respect. I thought about money. I thought about the way people confuse the two. Then I thought about ownership. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and thought about how we got here. It started with love. I need you to understand that. It started because I did not want Brielle to carry the weight I carried when I was young. I grew up with nothing. My father worked 2 jobs and still could not keep the lights on half the time. My mother stretched every meal until it was more air than substance. I wore hand-me-downs from cousins I had never met. I learned early that wanting something and having something were separated by a canyon most people never cross. When Marina told me she was pregnant, I made a decision. I would not let my grandchild live that way. I remember the day Brielle was born. Marina was exhausted, her face pale and damp with sweat, but she smiled when the nurse placed that tiny bundle in her arms. I stood in the doorway of the hospital room, watching my daughter become a mother, and I felt something shift inside me. Not just love, purpose. Dad, come here, Marina had whispered, her voice hoarse. Come meet her. I walked over slowly, afraid my rough hands would be too much for something so delicate. Brielle was wrapped in a pink blanket, her eyes closed, her face scrunched and red. She was the smallest thing I had ever seen. Do you want to hold her? Marina asked. I hesitated. I do not know how. You will figure it out. I sat in the chair beside the bed, and Marina placed Brielle in my arms. She weighed almost nothing. Her tiny fingers curled reflexively, and I felt her warmth through the blanket. For a moment, the hospital room disappeared. It was just me and this brand new person who had no idea what kind of world she was entering. I will take care of you, I whispered to her. I promise. I meant it then. I mean it now. But the meaning has changed. I started the college fund when Brielle was 3 months old. It was not much at first, $100 a month, scraped from overtime shifts and side work. Then it grew, 200, 300. I lived small so the account could live large. I never told Brielle how much was in there. I never told Marina the exact number. I told myself it was because I did not want them to feel pressure, but the truth is simpler. I did not want them to feel entitled. Too late for that now. The coffee in my kitchen has gone cold, but I do not care. I wrap my hands around the mug anyway, feeling the ceramic lose its warmth against my palms. The clock on the wall ticks steadily, each second a small hammer strike in the silence. Outside, the world is dark and still. Inside, my mind is anything but. I set up the fund through a plan administrator, a careful structure that made me the custodian and owner. Brielle was the beneficiary, but the account was mine. I could change it, I could freeze it, I could redirect it. I made the rules. I just forgot that for a long time. The first few years were easy. Brielle was small and sweet, the kind of child who asked questions and listened to answers. When I visited, she would climb into my lap and tell me about her day, about the kids at school, about the books she was reading. "Grandpa, if you could be any animal, what would you be?" "I do not know. What would you be?" "A dolphin, because they are smart and they can swim anywhere." "That is a good choice. What about you?" "Maybe a turtle." "Why?" "Because they take their time, and they live a long time." She giggled. "That is a boring answer." "Maybe, but turtles do not rush, and they do not quit." She thought about that, her small face serious. "I think turtles are cool." "Me too." Those moments mattered. I thought they were building something. I thought she would remember. She did not. I remember one Christmas when Brielle was 7. She had asked for a bicycle, a blue one with streamers on the handlebars. Marina could not afford it that year. She was still paying off student loans, still trying to keep her head above water as a single mother. So I bought the bike. I wrapped it myself, messy paper and too much tape, and brought it to their small apartment on Christmas morning. Brielle's face when she saw it, that pure, unfiltered joy, made everything worth it. She threw her arms around my neck and whispered, "Thank you," about 50 times in a row. We spent that whole morning in the parking lot, me holding the back of the seat while she pedaled, her laughter echoing off the apartment buildings. "Do not let go, Grandpa." "I will not let go." "Promise?" "I promise." Eventually, I did let go. She wobbled for a few feet, then found her balance, and I watched her ride in wobbly circles, her face split with the biggest smile I had ever seen. That was when I understood what this was all about. Not the bike, not the money, the chance to give her freedom. But freedom without respect is just license to hurt people. By the time Brielle hit middle school, the sweetness had faded. She was still polite, still said thank you when I gave her birthday money or took her to lunch, but the warmth was gone, replaced by something cooler, more transactional. Marina changed too. She stopped visiting just to visit. Now there was always a reason, a bill, a repair, a tuition payment. She would call and say, "Dad, I hate to ask, but..." She did not hate it. She just hated acknowledging it. I never said no. I told myself it was because I loved them, because family helps family. But the truth is uglier. I was afraid that if I stopped giving, they would stop coming. I sit at my kitchen table now, the morning light gray and thin, and I think about all the times I should have said no. All the times I should have asked for respect instead of offering money. My phone buzzes. A group text. Marina, Evan, Brielle, and me. Marina. "Tuition deadline is coming up. Dad, can we talk soon?" Not, "How are you?" Not, "Are you okay after last night?" Just business. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I set the phone down and walk to my home office. The room is small, just a desk and a filing cabinet and a window that overlooks the backyard. On the wall is a calendar, the kind with big squares for each day. I flip to next month and see the circled date in red ink, tuition due. I open the filing cabinet and pull out the folder again. This time, I do not just look at it. I read it, line by line, clause by clause. Owner, Gideon Sorrell. Beneficiary, Brielle Sorrell. Disbursement Authority, Owner. Change of beneficiary. Owner, at any time, for any reason. It is all there, black and white, legal and clear. I have spent years thinking of myself as a helper, a supporter, a background player in Brielle's story. But that is not what these papers say. They say I am the owner. I sit back in my chair and close my eyes. I think about last night, about the way Brielle looked at me, about the way the whole table treated me like a joke. Then I think about my sister, Lenora. She lives 2 hours away and visits every few months. She is steady in a way most people are not. She does not hype me up when I am down, and she does not tear me down when I am wrong. She just tells the truth, plainly, and lets me do what I want with it. I pull out my phone and call her. She answers on the 3rd ring. Gideon, it is early. I know. Do you have a minute? I have coffee and a porch. That is about as good as it gets. What is going on? I tell her about the dinner. I do not embellish. I do not make myself sound noble or Brielle sound monstrous. I just tell her what happened. When I finish, she is quiet for a long time. Gideon, she says finally, what are you going to do? I do not know. Yes, you do. Lenora, you called me because you already know. You just want someone to tell you it is okay. Is it? Is what okay? What I am thinking. She sighs, a long, slow sound. You have spent 19 years putting money into that account. You have spent 19 years being there, being the safety net, being the one who does not complain. And what has it bought you? I do not know. It has bought you mockery. It has bought you contempt. It has bought you the privilege of being treated like an ATM with a pulse. She is 19, I say, echoing Marina's words. She does not know better. She knows better, Lenora says, her voice hard. She just does not care. And Marina is teaching her that is fine. What am I supposed to do? Cut her off? Make her drop out? I am not telling you what to do, but I will tell you this. Respect is the only currency that matters at the end, and you have been letting them rob you blind. I close my eyes. I do not want to hurt her. Then stop letting her hurt you. We talk for a few more minutes, but the conversation is over. The truth has been said. Everything else is just noise. When I hang up, I sit in the silence and think about the word owner. I pull out a notebook, the kind with the black and white cover, and I start writing, not a journal, a log, dates, requests, payments, conversations. March 12th. Marina calls, needs help with car insurance. I send $800. April 3rd. Brielle texts, says she needs money for textbooks. I send $400. June 10th. Evan mentions they are looking at a bigger house, implies I should help with the down payment. July 22nd. Family dinner. Brielle introduces me to her friends as my grandpa who helps out. I write it all down, not with anger, not with bitterness, just facts. By the time I finish, the page is full. I flip to a new one and write a single line at the top. Owner, not helper. I close the notebook and set it beside the folder. Then I open my laptop and draft an email. Subject, account review, education fund. I do not send it yet. I just save it as a draft and sit back, staring at the screen. Outside, a crow lands on the fence and caws sharp and loud. I watch it for a moment, then turn back to the computer. There is a phone number on one of the documents. A contact for the plan administrator. I pick up my phone and dial. A woman answers. Educational Planning Services, this is Diane. Hello, my name is Gideon Sorrell. I am calling about an account I set up. Of course. Do you have your account number? I read it off the paper. Thank you. One moment. A pause. Keys clicking. Okay, Mr. Sorrell, I see your account here. How can I help you today? I have some questions about my authority as the owner. Certainly. As the account owner and custodian, you have full control over distributions, beneficiary changes, and account management. What specifically would you like to know? I take a breath. If I wanted to freeze disbursements, how would that work? You would submit a written request, and we would place a hold on the account pending further instruction from you. It typically processes within 1 business day. And changing the beneficiary? That is also within your authority. You would complete a change of beneficiary form, which we can send you electronically. Once processed, the new beneficiary would be updated in our system. How long does that take? If submitted with proper documentation, usually 2 to 3 business days. I see. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Mr. Sorrell? Not right now, thank you. You are welcome. Have a great day. I hang up and sit very still. The system has been waiting for me this whole time. I just did not know it. The campus tour happens on a Saturday. Marina texts me on Thursday. Brielle is visiting the campus this weekend. Want to come? We could make a day of it. I almost say no. Then I realize I need to see this. I need to see who Brielle is when she thinks she has already won. Sure, I text back. What time? We meet in the parking lot at 9 in the morning. The campus is old and beautiful, brick buildings and tree-lined paths, the kind of place that looks like an advertisement for higher learning. Brielle is dressed carefully, jeans, a fitted sweater, white sneakers that look brand new. She carries a leather tote bag over one shoulder, the kind with a designer logo stitched into the side. Owen is with her. So is Marina. Evan drove separately and is waiting near the entrance. Grandpa, Brielle waves when she sees me. It is the kind of wave you give to someone you half recognize in a crowd. Polite. Distant. Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for coming. This is going to be so fun. Fun. She says it like she means it, but her eyes are already scanning past me, looking for something more interesting. The morning air is cool and crisp, carrying the smell of fresh-cut grass and autumn leaves. Students walk past in small groups, laughing, carrying coffee cups and backpacks. They look young and certain of themselves, like the world is opening up instead of closing down. I feel old here, not just in years, but in relevance. The tour guide is a senior, a cheerful girl with a clipboard and an orange lanyard. She leads us through the quad, pointing out buildings and rattling off facts about enrollment and programs and student life. Brielle walks beside her, nodding, asking questions that sound rehearsed. What is the student-to-faculty ratio? Do you have study abroad programs? How competitive is the honors program? Each question is perfect. Each question makes her look serious and engaged, but I notice she already knows the answers. This is performance, not curiosity. I walk a few steps behind, carrying the brochure bag Marina handed me without asking. The bag is heavier than it should be. Glossy pamphlets, campus maps, folders with the university seal embossed in gold. Marina keeps adding things to it as we walk, handing them back to me without looking, like I am a pack mule she has hired for the day. Can you hold this, Dad? Sure. Thanks. No eye contact, no acknowledgement, just automatic expectation. Evan falls into step beside me. Good of you to come, Gideon. Of course. This is a big moment for Brielle. She has worked really hard. I know. Marina and I are so proud of her. I nod. I do not point out that Marina has mentioned my help exactly 0 times today. And we are grateful, Evan continues, his voice smooth, for everything you have done to make this possible. The fund you set up, that is going to change her life. I hope so. It is already a done deal, really. I mean, the money is there, the deadlines are set. It is just a matter of logistics now. I glance at him. He is smiling, that easy, confident smile that says he believes he has already closed the deal. Logistics, I repeat. Right. Paperwork, transfers, all that boring stuff, but the hard part is done. The hard part. Building the fund. That took years. Now it is just there, waiting. He says it like the money appeared on its own, like I had nothing to do with it. I do not correct him. I just keep walking. The tour guide stops at the library steps and launches into a speech about research facilities and 24-hour study rooms. Brielle takes notes on her phone, her thumbs moving quickly. Owen stands beside her, one arm draped over her shoulders, his other hand holding his phone at an angle. He is filming again, always filming. I watch him pan the camera across the library facade, then turn it toward Brielle, catching her profile against the morning light. She knows he is filming. She adjusts her posture slightly, tilts her chin up, makes herself camera ready without breaking character. This is what her life is now. One long audition for an audience that never stops watching. And I am a set piece. Background furniture. The old man in the scuffed shoes carrying the bag. The realization does not hurt anymore. It just clarifies. We stop at the Student Union, a modern building with floor-to-ceiling windows and exposed beams. The tour guide talks about meal plans and study spaces and club fairs. Brielle takes a photo, her arm around Owen, her smile wide and bright. "Grandpa, come here," she calls. I walk over. "Get in the picture." I stand at the edge of the frame, awkward and stiff. Owen holds the phone out, angles it, snaps the photo. Brielle reviews it and frowns. "Can you move a little to the left, Grandpa? You are kind of in the way." I step to the left. Owen takes another photo. This time, Brielle nods. "Perfect." She does not show me the picture. She just posts it immediately, tapping her phone with quick, practiced fingers. I watch her type a caption. I cannot see the words, but I see her smile, that satisfied little curve of her lips that says she has just crafted something clever. She hits post, and within seconds, her phone starts buzzing with notifications, hearts and comments and validation streaming in. "Nice one, babe," Owen says, looking at his own phone. "Already got like 40 likes." 52, Brielle corrects, refreshing her screen. Marina leans over to look. "Oh, that is a great picture. You should send that to me." "I will tag you." They huddle around the phone, admiring the image, while I stand 3 feet away holding their bags and wondering when exactly I became invisible. The tour ends at the Honors College building, a smaller structure with ivy climbing the walls. The guide talks about scholarships and research opportunities and networking events. Brielle listens with her head tilted, her expression serious and focused. This is the performance she has practiced. The dedicated student, the ambitious young woman, the girl with a bright future and a plan to get there. And I am the silent wallet that makes it possible. Afterward, we stand in the courtyard, the group breaking into smaller conversations. Evan and Marina talk to the guide about housing options. Owen scrolls through his phone. Brielle stands near the fountain, posing for another photo. I watch her, and I feel something cold settle in my chest. Not anger, not even disappointment, just clarity. She is performing. This whole day is a performance. And I am part of the set, a prop she wheels out when she needs to show she has family support. I walk over to her. "Brielle." She looks up, surprised. "Yeah? Do you even want me here?" "What? Of course I do." Because it does not feel that way. She glances at Owen, then back at me. "Grandpa, what are you talking about?" "I am talking about the way you treat me. Like I am in the way." Her face hardens. "I did not say that." "You did not have to." "Grandpa, if you are still upset about the restaurant thing." "I am upset," I say, keeping my voice even. "About being treated like an accessory. About being told I am embarrassing. About being expected to fund your life while you mock mine." She blinks, genuinely confused. "I did not mock you." "You did, in front of a room full of people." "I was just being honest." "Honest," I repeat. "Brielle, do you know how much I have put into your college fund?" No, not exactly." "Do you know how long I have been saving for you?" She shifts her weight, uncomfortable now. "Since I was little, I guess." "Since you were 3 months old." She does not say anything. Do you know why? Because you love me? Because I did not want you to struggle the way I did. Because I wanted you to have choices. And I appreciate that, Grandpa. I really do. Do you? Yes. Then show me. She stares at me, her mouth slightly open. What? Show me. With respect, with kindness, with the basic decency you would give a stranger. Owen steps closer, his phone in his hand. Hey man, this is not the time. This is exactly the time, I say, not looking at him. Because in a few weeks that tuition bill is going to come due and someone is going to have to pay it. Brielle's eyes widen. Grandpa, are you saying you would not? I am saying, I interrupt, that I am the owner of that account. Not a donor, not a helper, the owner, and I get to decide how it is used. Her face goes pale. But you already decided. You set it up for me. I set it up for the granddaughter I thought you would become. I am starting to wonder if I was wrong. Marina appears beside us, her voice sharp. Dad, what is going on? Nothing, I say. Just a conversation. It does not sound like nothing. Then maybe you should listen to how your daughter talks to me. Marina's jaw tightens. We are not doing this here. Fine. I turn and walk away, leaving them standing in the courtyard, their faces tight with confusion and anger. I do not look back. I do not slow down. In the parking lot, I sit in my truck and close my eyes. My heart is pounding, my hands shaking slightly. I grip the steering wheel and breathe. The rain starts as I pull onto the highway, a light drizzle that turns the windshield into a blur. I turn on the wipers, and the rhythm steadies me. Back and forth, back and forth. I think about Brielle's face when I said the word owner. The shock, the fear. Good. At home, I go straight to my office. I pull out the locked box from the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet. Inside is a single pen, expensive, the kind you use for important signatures. I set it on the desk beside the folder, then I make 2 phone calls. The first is to the plan administrator. I leave a voicemail. This is Gideon Sorrell. I need to schedule a time to discuss changes to my account. The second is to an attorney whose name I found online. Her website says she specializes in estate planning and education trusts. I leave another voicemail. My name is Gideon Sorrell. I need help making sure I am acting within my legal rights regarding an education fund I set up. Please call me back. I hang up and sit back in my chair. Outside, the rain picks up, drumming against the window. I do not feel guilty. I do not feel cruel. I feel awake. The attorney's office is in a quiet building downtown, the kind with thick carpets and soft lighting that makes everything feel serious. I arrive 10 minutes early and sit in the waiting room, flipping through a magazine I do not read. Talia Mendez calls me in at exactly 2 o'clock. She is younger than I expected, mid-30s maybe, with sharp eyes and a firm handshake. Mr. Sorrell, thank you for coming in. How can I help you? I explain the situation as clearly as I can. The fund, the family, the disrespect, the realization that I have more control than I thought. She listens without interrupting, taking notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finish, she sets down her pen and leans back in her chair. Okay, she says. First, let me be clear. Everything you have described is legal. You are the account owner and custodian. You have the right to change the beneficiary, freeze distributions, or redirect the funds at any time, for any reason. Even if she is expecting it? Even then. Expectations are not the same as entitlement. If you set up the account and you are the legal owner, the decision is yours. I nod slowly. What would the process look like? It depends on what you want to do. If you want to freeze the account temporarily, that is a simple form. If you want to change the beneficiary, that requires more documentation, but is still straightforward. If you want to dissolve the account and redirect the funds elsewhere, say to a scholarship program or a different family member, that is more complex but Absolutely doable. How long would it take? A freeze? 1 business day. A beneficiary change? 2 to 3 days, depending on the institution. Full dissolution and redirect? A week? Maybe 2. I lean forward. And there is no way they could challenge it? Not successfully. The account is in your name. You have full control. The beneficiary has no legal claim to the funds until they are actually distributed. What if they argue I am doing it out of spite? Mr. Sorrell, I am not here to judge your motivations, but legally speaking, you do not need a reason. This is your money. You set it up. You control it. I sit back, letting that sink in. Okay. Do you know what you want to do? Not yet, but I needed to know I could. She nods. That is fair. If you decide to move forward, call me. I can help you draft the paperwork and make sure everything is filed correctly. Thank you. One more thing, she says, her voice gentle. Whatever you decide, make sure it is for you. Not to punish them, not to prove a point. For you. I meet her eyes. I understand. I leave the office feeling lighter, like I have been carrying a weight I did not know was there. Back at home, I check my email. There is a message from the plan administrator with an attachment, a blank change of beneficiary form. I download it but do not open it. Not yet. That evening, Marina calls. Dad, we need to talk. Okay. Not on the phone. Can you come over tomorrow? What is this about? Just come over, please. I hear something in her voice. Not anger. Worry. What time? Around 6. We will order dinner. All right. I hang up and stare at the wall. I know what this is. I know what they are going to do. The next day, I arrive at Marina and Evan's house exactly at 6. The driveway is crowded. Marina's car, Evan's SUV, Owen's beat-up sedan. They are all here. Inside, the living room feels staged. Marina sits on the couch, her hands folded in her lap. Evan stands near the fireplace, arms crossed. Brielle sits in the armchair, Owen beside her on the floor. They all look at me when I walk in. Dad, Marina says, her voice too bright. Thanks for coming. Sit down. I sit in the chair opposite Brielle. No one offers me anything to drink. No one asks how I am. So, Evan says, his tone casual, we wanted to talk about what happened on Saturday. Okay. Brielle feels like there was a misunderstanding. I look at Brielle. She does not look at me. What kind of misunderstanding? I ask. Marina jumps in. She did not mean to upset you, Dad. She was just... You know how kids are. They do not always think before they speak. She is 19, I say. Not 12. Still, Marina says. She is young. She is learning. What is she learning? Evan clears his throat. Look, Gideon, we all appreciate what you have done for Brielle, the fund, the support, all of it. But I think we need to have a conversation about expectations. Expectations, I repeat. Yeah, like what the plan is moving forward. The tuition deadline is in a few weeks, and we need to make sure everything is in order. It is in order. Great. So we are all on the same page. Are we? Evan frowns. What does that mean? I lean forward, resting my elbows on my knees. It means I am the one who decides what happens with that money. Not you, not Marina, me. The room goes very still. Dad, Marina says slowly, you are not seriously suggesting. I am not suggesting anything. I am telling you a fact. I own the account. I control it. And I will decide how and when it gets used. Brielle finally speaks, her voice small. Grandpa, you are scaring me. Good. Her eyes fill with tears. Why are you being like this? Like what? Mean. I stare at her, and I feel something crack inside me. Not anger. Sadness. Brielle, I say quietly, do you think I am mean because I am not letting you walk all over me? I never. You did. You do. You treat me like I am an accessory. Like I only matter when I am useful. That is not true. Then tell me, I say, my voice steady. When was the last time you asked how I was doing? Not because you needed something, just because you cared. She does not answer. That is what I thought. Owen shifts, his phone in his hand. I see the screen glow, the angle of the camera, and I realize he is recording again. I let him. Evan steps forward, his voice harder now. Gideon, you need to think about what you are doing. This is Brielle's future, her education, her whole life. And it is my money. You set it up for her. I did, but I also set it up with rules. My rules. Marina stands, her hands shaking. Dad, if you do this, if you take that money away, you will destroy her. No, I say, I will teach her. Teach her what? That respect is not optional. The silence that follows is thick and ugly. Brielle is crying now, real tears, her face red and streaked. Owen puts his arm around her, glaring at me like I am the villain in this story. Maybe I am. Or maybe I am just the first person who stopped playing the game. I stand. I am going home. Dad, I will let you know what I decide. I walk out, leaving them in the living room, their faces frozen in shock and anger. In my truck, I sit for a moment, gripping the steering wheel. Then I pull out my phone and open the calendar app. I find the date, the one circled in red, and stare at it. 2 weeks. That is how long they have to change. That is how long I have to decide if I am really going to do this. I start the engine and drive home through the dark, the streetlights blurring past like memories I cannot hold on to. I wake up early on the morning of the decision. The house is cold, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and will not let go. I make coffee, slow and careful, pouring the water, measuring the grounds, watching the dark liquid drip into the pot. Routine. Steadiness. I sit at the kitchen table and stare at the folder. It has lived there for days now, untouched, waiting. Today is the day. The event is scheduled for this afternoon, a scholarship banquet at the university, followed by a family send-off brunch in a private room. Marina texted me the details 3 days ago, her message curt and transactional. Event at 2 p.m. Please be there. Brielle is receiving a recognition award. I did not ask what award. I did not ask who would be there. I just said I would come. Because this is where it ends. I spend the morning moving through my house like a ghost. I shower. I dress in clean clothes, not the old jacket, but a plain button-down shirt and slacks that fit. I shave carefully, trimming the gray stubble, rinsing the blade, checking my reflection. I look like a man who has made a choice. At noon, my phone rings. Marina. Dad, she says, her voice soft, almost pleading. I just wanted to make sure you are still coming. I will be there. Good. That is good. Listen, I know things have been tense, but today is really important for Brielle. Can we put everything aside for a few hours? Sure. Thank you. A pause. Dad, I love you. The words hang in the air, and I do not know if she means them or if she is trying to manage me. I love you too, I say, because it is true, even if it hurts. I hang up and sit in the silence. My phone buzzes again. A text from Evan. Looking forward to celebrating today? Brielle is so excited. I do not reply. Instead, I open my laptop and pull up the draft email I wrote days ago. I read it once, twice, making sure every word is right. Then I attach the signed form, the one I filled out in Talia's office, the one that changes everything. I hover the cursor over the send button. Not yet. I close the laptop and stand. In the hallway, I check the pocket of my jacket. Inside is a pen, the good one, the one from the locked box. I do not need it anymore. The signature is already done. But I bring it anyway. A reminder. The drive to the university is smooth and quiet. The sky is overcast. the kind of gray that makes everything look muted and distant. I park in the visitor lot and sit for a moment, watching people stream toward the event hall. Families, students, laughter. I wonder how many of them know what it feels like to be invisible in your own story. I walk inside. The banquet hall is large and bright, with round tables draped in white linen and centerpieces of fresh flowers. A stage sits at the front, a podium with a microphone, a banner that reads, "Celebrating Excellence." I find Marina and Evan near the back. Brielle is with them, dressed in a navy dress, her hair curled, her makeup perfect. She looks older than 19. She looks like someone who has already won. "Grandpa!" She sees me and waves, her smile wide but fragile. I walk over. "Hi. Thanks for coming. This means a lot." "Of course." Owen is there too, his phone already out, filming everything. He nods at me but does not speak. We sit at a table near the side. Marina talks too much, filling the silence with chatter about the ceremony, about Brielle's award, about the future. Evan checks his watch. Brielle scrolls through her phone, smiling at something on the screen. No one asks me how I am. The ceremony starts. A dean takes the stage and talks about the university's mission, about excellence and opportunity and the bright futures ahead. Then they start calling names. Brielle's name is called. She stands, smooths her dress, and walks to the stage. The applause is polite and warm. She accepts a certificate, shakes the dean's hand, and poses for a photo. When she returns to the table, Marina hugs her. Evan claps her on the shoulder. Owen films the whole thing. I sit very still. After the ceremony, we move to a private room for the family brunch. It is smaller, more intimate, with a buffet table and soft music playing in the background. There are maybe 20 people here. Family friends, Marina's co-workers, a few of Brielle's professors. Marina stands and clinks her glass with a fork. "Can I have everyone's attention?" The room quiets. "I just want to say," Marina begins, her voice bright and emotional, "how proud I am of Brielle. She has worked so hard to get here, and I know she is going to do amazing things. And I want to thank everyone who has supported her along the way. Family, friends, mentors, all of you have invested in her future, and we are so grateful." She raises her glass. "To Brielle. To Brielle." The room echoes. I do not raise my glass. Evan goes next, talking about Brielle's determination, her intelligence, her bright future. He does not mention my name, neither does Marina. Then Brielle stands. She smiles, her hands folded in front of her, and looks around the room. "Thank you all so much for being here," she says. "This day would not be possible without the people who believed in me. My mom, my stepdad, my professors, my friends. Everyone who invested in me, who saw my potential and helped me get here. I am so grateful for all of you." She pauses, and for a moment, I think she might look at me. She does not. "I promise I will make you all proud," she finishes, and the room applauds. I stand. The room goes quiet. "Brielle," I say, my voice calm and clear. "Can I say something?" She hesitates, then nods. "Of course, Grandpa." I walk to the front of the room. All eyes are on me. Owen's phone is pointed at my face. "Good. I want to start," I say, by saying that I love my granddaughter. I have loved her since the day she was born, and I have spent 19 years trying to give her opportunities I never had. Brielle smiles nervously. Marina's face is tight. "I set up a college fund for Brielle when she was 3 months old," I continue. "I saved every month. I sacrificed. I built something I thought would give her freedom." "Dad," Marina starts, but I raise my hand. "But I made a mistake," I say. "I confused giving with respect. I thought if I gave enough, if I supported enough, I would earn a place in her life that mattered." The room is silent now. I was wrong. Because 2 weeks ago, Brielle made it very clear that I am not a person to her. I am a resource, a prop, someone she tolerates because I am useful. "Grandpa, that is not," Brielle begins, but I keep talking. I am the owner of that college fund, I say. Not a donor, not a helper, the owner. And as the owner, I have the legal authority to decide how it is used. Marina stands, her face pale. Dad, stop! I will not stop, because this is important. I pull a folded piece of paper from my pocket. This morning I signed a form changing the beneficiary of the education fund. Brielle is no longer listed. The funds have been redirected to a scholarship program for students who demonstrate both academic merit and personal character. The room erupts, gasps, whispers. Brielle's face goes white. Grandpa, no. I made the decision, I say, my voice steady, because respect is not optional, because I will not finance someone who treats me like I am worthless, because I am done being invisible. Marina rushes forward. Dad, you cannot do this. The tuition deadline is real, I say, and she will have to figure it out, just like I did when I was her age. Brielle is crying now, her hands shaking. Grandpa, please, I am sorry. I did not mean… You did, I say quietly. You meant every word. You just did not think there would be consequences. Evan steps forward, his face red. Gideon, you are making a huge mistake. No, I say. I am correcting one. I turn to leave, and then I stop. I pull out my phone and check the screen. There is a notification, an email confirmation from the university bursar's office. Payment declined. I turn back to Brielle. She is staring at her own phone, her face frozen in shock. You will figure it out, I say, or you will not, but it will not be on my dime. I walk out of the room. Behind me, I hear shouting, crying, chaos. I do not look back. I do not slow